Smooth clap and welcome everybody. Welcome to a new episode of the B-Talks podcast where it's a new guest, new day, new topic. اليوم we're hosting William Mahfoud. I'm going to let him introduce himself أكيد. Without further ado, just to recap what the B-Talk show is about. It's a decentralized media platform made for the Beehive community where we get up guests and co-hosts to talk and to discuss anything related to Web3, NFTs, and this really amazing technology. So, drum roll, and without further ado, William, please, عرفنا عن حالك. The podcast is also in English and Arabic, باللبناني. Feel free, welcome aboard. And who are you?
Okay, hi. Thank you for having me. So, my name is William, Rise 1969. Basically, I make music. I DJ, and right now we're migrating our label called Red Booth into the Web3 space. So, I mean, yeah, I guess I'm here to talk about all of that. We have a music studio, which is called Red Booth, and my partner is Scarlett Saad, who's actually the founder. And I'm right now kind of in charge of, doing the Discord and the Twitter and everything.
Nice. So, starting it up. Best exactly. Before we get into all of that, again, why did you decide or why did you like being a DJ and why do you like doing the things that you like doing? لأنه I personally believe there's always needs to be some sort of passion that's the driving force behind everything in life. Before coming into any of these, what got you into the sort of the general topic of music in the first place?
I mean, I guess both my parents really like music.
Okay. Do any of them have
No.
Maybe like a side hobby? Do they play any instruments?
Not
have
really.
they tried?
My mother's best friend in university was a music producer, Rodney. Okay. Hi, Rodney.
Shout out.
So yeah, he had like a bunch of synthesizers and stuff, and my mother used to really like, kind of house, techno music. My dad was more into like the hippie stuff.
Nice.
60s rock and stuff like that.
Nice.
Hence the name Rise 1969.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, music was always a part of my upbringing. There was always music in the house.
Right.
And I guess, I started playing the bass when I was quite young because I used to really like that like heavy bass sound.
When was the first time you actually, ما بدي أقول gig, بس took up like a task or a job or anything? When was the first time, William, مش gig, but I'm into the music industry, quote unquote?
Yeah, I guess it was a school, we called it the May Festival.
Okay.
So we performed music up on stage in front of the whole school, and yeah, it was funny.
Cool. I personally also have a very big place for music. I listen to music, I don't want to say religiously, but it's very organized. I've organized all of my songs and playlists, and I'm super duper organized. I'm either super...
You soundtrack your life, basically.
Yes.
You're the main character.
not always, but I'm either super organized in whatever I do in life or disorganized. And when it comes to music, everything is under playlists and it's organized. And I feel also, Akid, you know this as a DJ and as a music enthusiast as well. And know the music changes depending on your mood, and then you have to listen to music in the shower. You have to listen to the music when you're in the car, and I go clubbing as well outside, so you end up listening to music. So yeah, music is also a big part of my life as well.
It sets a mood in a way, doesn't it?
It sets a mood, it sets an environment, and also we were also blasting a lot of ideas behind the scenes, right? قبل ما نبلش, I told you that not necessarily it sets the scene, but as a person, I grew up where I slept, because I'm the first child, I slept in rooms with a lot of people. Okay. So there's always noise around me when I'm sleeping, whether it's a TV background noise or people chit-chatting. So I love having background noise.
Silence.
Exactly. I love having a background noise, whether I'm studying or anything. And that's what got also me into music. Yeah. So yeah, picking it up from there, Rise went, or like Rise started, quote unquote, زي ما نحكي. When?
I guess, yeah. So Rise 1969, I guess it's been...
Yeah, when did the Rise 1969 identity come to be? And how did it come to be? And then we can move on to talk about Red Booth and all of this.
I guess I must have been 17, 18 when I came up with the name. 18, I think. It was 18, yeah. And guess my first release must have been produced when I was like 19. I'm 30 now, so we're talking like over 10 years ago. So
And it's been a long way. It's been a good ride. It's been a hectic ride.
It's been a long journey.
Every road has ups and downs. أكيد مثل ما بيقولوا.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and then how did it transition into Red Booth, and eventually bringing it back to the general topic of the B Talks, which is NFTs, and integrating it into Web3.
So basically,
فيك بس قرب المايك شوي.
yeah, sorry.
Amazing.
Yeah, so basically I started studying sound when I moved to London when I was 18, and I've worked in a lot of studios all around the world, London, Dubai, and now Beirut, Berlin as well. So
You have a specific degree? Sorry to cut you
audio
off.
production. It's called
Okay.
audio production. So we studied everything from music production, sound recording, film, like music for film, sound for film, music business, copyright law,
Amazing.
music law, stuff like that. So everything that has to do with music and sound. So yeah, I mean, I guess how I got into Red Booth, because of that knowledge that I have.
And the passion, and
Yeah.
like when you mix together a bit of passion with a bit of skill, with a bit of
Yeah.
knowledge, because everything is needed in life, I think you can get and to build an amazing product, because
Yeah,
you
of
need
course.
all of these. So with all of these, you moved into Red Booth. What was
Exactly.
your
So
first step? What plans do you guys have in mind?
it was
What is
actually,
Red Booth?
I think you know Joe Haj, don't you?
Joe Haj, and also big shout out to Joe Haj.
Yeah.
Joe Haj is a close friend of mine. Joe, if you're watching the episode, love you, man.
I'm gonna make him watch it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Joe is a buzzing bee at heart. I see him
Yeah.
in most communities.
Yeah.
He's mingling around, he's jumping around all the time. He's doing a great job, especially when it comes to Twitter Spaces. And also maybe we'll touch upon the importance of Twitter, possibly for music NFTs and how to market them later on in the episode. So yeah, Joe.
Yeah, so Joe introduced me to Scarlett, who has had this studio for as long as I can remember. And we were always meant to meet, you know, but we both never really had the time. She's a very busy person.
You was always meant to meet because of your professional occupation,
Exactly,
both of you,
yeah,
as
'cause,
in
you know, Joe, he likes to introduce people to
yeah,
each other.
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so-
You know, the whole Lebanese in general, combined with the NFT scene as well, is a recipe to introduce people to each
Yeah.
other.
So
And that's something I'm really glad
talking
about.
like 5-6 years ago, before, you know, really NFTs were a thing. So yeah, so I guess one day Scarlett figured out that I actually am her neighbor,
Okay.
and she had been looking for someone
In
for-
Leb or
yeah,
abroad?
So I live in Farah Bib, and the studio's in Sahel Alma. So when she figured out that I'm actually her neighbor, she's like, okay, why haven't I met this guy before? Like, I mean, it's been like years that we're supposed to be meeting up. So finally we met up, and it was like literally it's like we both really, we complemented each other. You know, so whatever she knows I don't, and
It's
whatever I
always-
know she doesn't, and
It's
it's like we both really learned and still learn so much from each other.
it's always so nice to meet, not the yin to your yang and all of
Yeah,
that
yeah,
cheesy things, but it's nice to meet somebody that complements
Yeah.
your weaknesses. It's also very important to always recognize that someone does have strengths and weaknesses, and you cannot have it all, and you cannot have every single skill out there, and you need people to sort of go ahead and to complement what you're good at what you're bad at.
Of course, I mean, I think a lot of people have, I guess, too much pride to say that there's something that they don't know, and they always
Yeah.
want to appear like to be like the best in everything.
I don't know,
and
just
the best in,
uh,
you know, and it's so important to grow and to become the best, to learn from others, and to admit
learn
that you
f-
don't
learn
know
from
something
your
in
own
order
mistakes
for
as
you.
well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah. So, sorry. Yeah, so I met Scarlett, and immediately we started working together, like straight away.
and
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 it's
you
been
worked on-
constant ever since, you know. Yeah.
And you guys worked on songs, albums, production. Did you put out any piece of content? What was the type of content that you were
Yeah,
putting
like,
out?
I mean, we've literally worked on everything imaginable. I mean, I can't even remember what we started working on. I think it was probably like sound design for adverts or something like that. You know, maybe a film or a series.
And
But we do everything. I mean, you know, we're quite busy. We do recordings for bands. We do
Okay.
voiceover recordings. Like the last job I had at the studio was recording a teleprompter. You know, like those when you call Zataruzet or something. It's like shout out to Zainab. By the way. I know, yeah.
and
So-
and and this is where I wanted to ask you this question since I think the second minute that we started
Yeah.
the filming. But I'm glad that you introduced a bit your connections, how you got to be the person you are. But do you consider yourself in general as a content creator? Because I feel this word is being used a lot, especially in the Web3 space and the NFT space, where it's a space that you have tools, a lot of tools that are at your disposal, and we've
Listen,
seen
I hate
things.
the word content. You know why?
It's overused.
Let me tell you why.
But the other part of my question, and then
Okay.
the floor is all yours. It's a two-parted question.
Okay, fine.
The first part is about content creation.
Yeah.
And do you consider yourself a content creator? And also the other part, or the other side of the question, is going specifically into music, where I've been seeing on social media pages things like, selling 100 copies of your NFT album monetizes you as much as having 1 million listeners on Spotify, for example. And this is the link of talking about the tools that are given and handed out to music content creators to be able to reach this level of financial independence, of having fans, of having super fans through NFTs. So yeah, big question, and the floor is all yours, man.
Okay, so the second part is a complicated one. Where we're gonna have to have a long conversation about that.
Yeah.
But basically, I hate the word content because it's so based around social media, and music existed way before any even medium existed. I mean, music is something that's born with us when we're born. As babies, like, we know pitch and we understand like tone of voice, if your mom is angry or not, and that's all music.
And one thing I want to also pitch in here, a lot of people say that the most fundamental things in a society are found in different cultures at the same time before meeting each other. يعني مثلا
Bread,
we
for
all
example.
bread,
Bread exists
we
in
all
every
smile the
culture.
same. It's the same smile.
Exactly.
You contract the muscles of your face. And in every culture, even if they had not mingled with each other, there was some sort of music aspect of art. So I'd say part one, music is art, definitely, for sure. That's something that we can all agree on. But part two, music is something that's not only universal, but that's common to every different society and every different age and every different topic. And that's something that I think is amazing, and we can all relate under sort of the aspect of one banner or of one topic. So yeah, just a side note to music being in every single community and society out there, no matter if you're a locked up tribe in the Amazons, they do have music, or you're the most advanced society out there, everyone needs music in their life sort of as a part of art.
So yeah, that's the thing. Like, so when you reduce music to the word content,
it's
I think
only on social
very
media.
Offensive, you know what I mean? It's
Okay.
like, no, I'm not a content creator. I'm a musician, and I, you know what I mean? And I don't. I mean, yes, I create content for social media, but I'm not a content creator because that's not my title. I'm a musician.
But aren't you creating?
Yeah, I mean, but like,
pieces
okay,
of
so
music?
let's say, I don't know. Let me think of an example. I mean. And every musician would markets their work, right? But does that mean that they're a marketer, or are they a musician? No, they're a musician, but they market their work.
Well, you have to sort of be a marketeer.
I mean, yeah, but that's not the title.
Whether you like it, definitely.
So I'm not a content creator. No, I don't like the title. I think content creators, obviously, like, all respect to people, that's their job. They create ads.
Different people have different
companies.
things in life.
Yeah, I mean, it's more advertising. I feel content creation. It's like you create content for brands to put on social media.
And then
you see what I mean?
How, because social media
it's a job, like.
social media also ties a lot into Web 2 versus Web 3. And how do you feel about social media being the platform that people are consuming everything on nowadays, and then sort of shifting the conversation after that into Web3 and how people will be consuming music in Web3 versus how they used to consume music on social media on Web2, stuff like the likes economy for content creators. How do you feel about all of these?
Exactly what I'm about to talk about. So basically, I think one of the reasons why I got into Web3 was seeing all these artists, like, at the end of the year. I don't know if you noticed, like, at the end of the year they do Spotify of the recaps and all this stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, you're all proud of like how many people listen to your music, but like, I mean, did you actually make any money from this?
Are you monetizing this?
You know what I mean? I mean, it's not fair as an artist to be working so hard and to have so many listeners and so many fans all around the world, and you're not even making money from it. I mean, before, you had bands like.
Do
when
they
we-
not
when
make-
when we're talking the days of vinyl, and music was more regional, you know. So it was because obviously we didn't have the internet, we didn't have like
Social
it was
media
yeah
and all
so
platforms.
people would actually have to ship records abroad, and then they would like people would like you'd have like numbers on the vinyl, so people would actually call their favorite artists
To say, hey man, your music is
yeah,
rad.
exactly,
And
it was like that.
And the metric for success, quote unquote, was number of vinyls sold,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's
not the only
Also,
metric.
you had radio plays.
أكيد.
That's
That's not the only metric. But
It depends on the industry also. Like in dance music, it was like, okay, people didn't really know the name of the song, but they would know it from the clubs.
okay.
They would go to the clubs and like, oh, I know that song and I love it. And it was like, it was more underground. It wasn't really like radio based on radio plays and all this stuff. It was more
And
just,
do you feel
people
we're
going to record stores and like asking the person like, oh, I heard this record, and they would try to describe it as like, we're really trying to describe something without any words.
that's very interesting, man. I never looked back to that era.
Yeah.
I think of music because part one, I think I feel that people don't talk about it enough, and part two, I feel that there's not a lot of info stored back from that
Listen,
era.
seek and you shall find. The info is all there. It's just, I think people, when it comes to music, I mean, it's not like I blame them or anything, because music is just meant to be enjoyed, isn't it? Not everybody is like so fascinated
Passionate.
with music and stuff that they want to know the history. It's like, no, this is the kind of music
You
that
know,
I like, and I want to go dance to it. Whatever.
Different people are passionate about different things in life.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna find their niche at all. And then you feel that moving towards Web3 and NFTs and music NFTs and NFT labels that are producing songs and releasing albums and NFTs and all this cool stuff, super cool stuff. Do you feel that it's shifting us back to this niche, super fan, regional type of fan base and type of monetization for artists? Because that's what it is at the end of the day.
Yes and no,
And
because
are
I
you
think-
glad that that's where it's headed?
Listen, I think honestly, we're very, very, very early.
Definitely, and one thing I always say is that we're all still pioneers in this
Yeah.
field, and we should all give ourselves a big clap that
Hopefully, let's see. Maybe
that we're all pioneers.
Let's hope the whole currency doesn't crash and we're all left homeless. But yeah,
at the time of recording, ETH is still below 2K, and the market is hitting a big crash. So yeah,
hang in there, everyone. So, I guess. So we're talking about this whole the like economy and everything. So yeah, it's very disheartening as an artist to see like, okay, I can describe my success with a bunch of likes and numbers.
and I can have maybe
But-
10K people listening to my songs, but
Exactly.
I'm not necessarily monetizing from it.
Exactly. And as someone that I really work in the industry, and it's not just about me making money. It's much more than that. But I also want to be able to fund projects and
I know you're a
invest
big
in
fan
other
of that.
artists
I know you're a big fan of that because I always pick up on your Insta stories, and big kudos to you. I always see you raising the bar and raising awareness on artists and artist rights and what's logical, what's not logical, and I see that you're really putting time and effort into not necessarily making the space cleaner, but possibly making the space more ethical, possibly making the space better, because the way it was and the way it still is, man كذب على بعض, is there's a hierarchy that takes a lot of commissions off of artists, and it's a label on top of a label on top of another producer on top of everything, and then the artist is
like,
left the crumbs of the
owner
of the work.
Spotify is a billionaire,
Exactly.
The artists are all.
Exactly.
It's always been like that. It's always been like that. So I guess, I think what's great about Web3, it's as I was saying, we're very early, but I think really the future is decentralized.
In what way?
I really believe it. I really believe that crypto will be the future currency. And I don't know if you're watching Mr. Robot, maybe I'm just like, but I really believe like somehow the governments will get involved and they will create their own cryptocurrencies.
The governments are, I believe that the governments want to get involved. They're just sort of mingling, they're trying to build a structure from the outside
Where
that they can
centralize it.
enter in it
Exactly, yeah.
through CBDCs, which are central bank cryptocurrencies, where every central bank from every country has a cryptocurrency. So they're still working on this legal framework for it, where they can enter, where they set the legal framework before entering. But we all
And that's the
know,
thing, like when you can see that the governments are actually trying to get in, like
you know
you're
that
doing
there's a
something
future.
right.
Yeah,
You know you're doing something right. I mean,
because for me, and not for a lot of people, unfortunately, and I think when people get to this point in the space, that's something really good for us. I personally see both crypto and NFTs not only, I'm not going to say they're not assets, I'm not going to say they're not currencies, I'm not going to say they're not stuff worth things, but I see them mostly as infrastructure.
of course.
That we can build a future economic model, that we can build a future social model, where every single legal paper, where every single uni diploma, where every single possibly song is stored on the blockchain, the data is on chain. And you can
build your own business model as well as a business, okay, as a label. I mean, right now as a label.
And how are you guys doing that?
Exactly. So let me tell you, like the already established model is you're a label. You put your music on whatever, Bandcamp, Beatport, whatever, and there is a set price.
And those
for the music,
are?
Which is like $1, $1.5, €1, something like that.
Yeah, and what are those?
These are marketplaces.
Marketplaces for you to sell?
For people to buy the rights to listen to the music.
Okay, in terms of just like copyrights, normal Web 2 stuff, not Web 3 things.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the thing. So right now, there's no infrastructure available where let's say somebody like me who runs a label, like, no, I don't think that's a fair thing. I want to set my own prices, and I want to be able to sell a percentage of the rights to whoever wants to buy them.
And you want to keep possibly a bit of royalties as well.
Exactly.
Why not?
You know? And I think it's very important to be able to set your own business model, you know, because when we're talking about anything other than music, you can set your own model, you set your own price, you set your own business model. But why is music different? I mean, why is there like a set price for everything, and why have they devalued music so much? We're talking something like an artist could have spent a year on a song and now he's selling it for $1.5. You know what I mean? Why? Who decided that this is the price for a song?
Also, my question is, how does an artist spend a year on a song?
I mean,
possibly for inspiration, possibly for lyrics, possibly for producing it.
Sometimes literally like, it's just almost there, and it's just never really there.
But you don't feel good about it, like to
sometimes
release it to the
just
public.
clicks and the sounds just click together, and you can't really explain it. It's a process.
Yeah,
and it could take a day, it could take a year.
You cannot force creativity.
You know, it's not about being blocked on it. No, you could be working on it every day, and you're just getting that tiny step closer. You know, and
what's the minor adjustments that you do? Just a question, you know, out of curiosity. These minor adjustments that you do on a daily, do you do them on the lyrics, the tones, the music, the production, the music video?
Especially with electronic music, they're all kind
Which is the type of music that you
I produce. Yeah,
you produce exactly.
With electronic music, they're all combined. You know, so the production, the mixing, the sound design, the sampling and everything, it's all part of the process. So you think about the mix before you're actually making the sound. There's a whole theory and books and stuff written about this stuff. You know? So, but when we're talking about recording bands and stuff like that, it's a bit more clear cut. So like the band comes in, we record the drums, we record the bass, we record the thing, and then the mixing engineer comes, and then he, or the editor comes, and then they edit all of the good takes, and then they gives it to the mixing engineer who mixes it, and then gives it to the mastering engineer who masters it, etc.
And in Web3, it's even unclearer. I'd say in most jobs, because I've worked as a community manager, I've worked as a mod, I've worked as an admin. I'm mainly a flipper in the NFT space, and I don't feel ashamed about this. I'm a big degen. I don't think any of us should be ashamed of being flippers in the NFT space, but even jobs in general.
Wait, why would you be ashamed? Like, why?
There was this very big stigma on every project going out of the gates saying, we're the best community, we don't want flippers, let's burn the paper hands, let's burn the flippers. I mean, guys, I think every single project needs to understand that sometimes people want in for the flip, sometimes people want in for the prospect of making money.
Yeah.
And
wouldn't the project also make money from the flip?
based off of royalties, akid, based off of those are things exactly, but those are things that projects did not necessarily understand, and they just wanted to keep this fake vibe of diamond hands, no one's gonna sell anything, no one's gonna list anything, whereas projects like Bored Apes did not reach 100 ETH floor price with the same holders. It's just different people trading different assets for different price points, and people come in, people come out community.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think also,
also
our business model, as you were asking before.
Also, one last thing about flipping, I only realized how accepting we should be until Gary V's VFriends 2 drop, because I minted the VFriends Series 2 drop. First of all, Gary V is one of the best community leaders I've seen there. The whole community is stressed out. The guy opens up his selfie, he films a 10-second video. Guys, don't worry, I'm with you. No one worries. Gary V's with us. Best, what I'm saying, Gary V used to open the video and say, guys, no one be ashamed of a person or someone flipping for a 2 times, 3 times profit, because maybe $1K is a lot of money for someone. Maybe 1.5K is a lot of money for someone. NFTs have been so centralized, and even mint times and communities have been so centralized around North America, around EU, where people don't understand that in some places in the world, 1K is a lot of money for some people. In Lebanon, it's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of money.
What's the percent? 200% inflation right now?
The inflation is going crazy for the viewers who don't know. Inflation in Lebanon is going crazy. There's an economic collapse, and people don't understand that if you make $1,000 from NFT, that could be something life-changing for someone.
Literally, you can live off $1,000 here for 3-4 months.
مرتاح.
You know.
مرتاح.
Not مرتاح يعني, بس إنه, you know what I mean.
إنه أحسن.
Like I'm talking like your expenses paid and everything.
Anyways,
so
big
really sad,
kudos for the Lebanese people for standing up for what's happening and staying in the loop. All of our love from Beehive, akid all of William's love to everyone that's struggling out there, and to all of the Lebanese people. Get into NFTs, guys. It's a nice getaway for you, whether it's through investing, whether it's through working. Do that. Join the Beehive Discord server as well. You guys can get to know a lot about NFTs through that. Get to mingle around with people in the space like William. Get to mingle around with people in the space just like all of our previous guests. All of them are honestly amazing people in the space. Back to how you are monetizing with Red Booth.
Okay.
And nice interlude, guys. Back to the podcast.
Yeah, I guess so. Basically, so it was actually also Joe's idea for us to get into Web3. So we have a lot of releases, amazing releases. You know, we do jazz, we do pop, we have something for everybody really on the label. Our latest release was a hip hop album by this girl who's one of my close friends, Sabine Saleme. So my idea was to basically start with our back catalog and which was already released on Web2.
Okay.
So anybody who wants to buy it on Web2 can buy it on Web2. But what we're offering on Web3 is you can actually buy some of the master rights. So
which goes along the idea of ownership and IP rights and the NFTs
exactly.
and all of that.
So what this does is the buyer is not only buying the music, they're actually buying a stake in our
company, quote unquote.
Yeah, in our label. They're investing in the artist, and even if they flip it, they still invested. You know?
Definitely.
So
they were still
flipper,
part of the community.
They still supported you, and I think it's very important, especially these days when, you know, I think music has become so easily consumed, and like there's just so much. It's an oversaturated market, you know. So I think for fans who feel like, you know, their artists have like, you know, how many K followers and whatever, they feel like the fans don't really feel like they're involved in the process. So I think
it's a great way to get
migrating into the Web3. Like I think fans, you know, they have a chance to grab an artist's attention and be like, okay, well, I could have paid this much for your music, but I decided to pay that much because that's how much.
Exactly.
And it's not fair for anybody that doesn't have the money to pay. I understand, but they can still join the servers. They can still take part, and you see what I mean.
It's
so
not
you don't
for everybody.
need money.
Yeah.
You don't need. It is literally for everybody because, I mean, you can show your support in different ways, and you know, by joining a community, for example,
and having possibly a non-holder that's active in your community is much better for you than having a holder that's not active.
Exactly.
Out of experience of like managing communities and people.
Yeah.
I don't mind having 10 non-holders who are active every day than having 10 holders who are
because they keep
not
it,
active.
They keep it alive.
They keep it alive.
things
Exactly.
interesting.
ومثل ما قلت أنت, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
There are different entry points or entry prices.
Exactly.
There are different layers to this. But again, you don't need everybody. You don't need a million buyers.
Exactly.
Possibly you need 200, 300 buyers that are buying your art to make a good living
And that's the
out
thing.
of an art
Okay, okay.
as an
Let
artist.
me tell you, I'm gonna try a business model with our first release. Okay, so my first release, it's a very, very, very fair price point. So we have an album. Okay, I thought, okay, how can we make this special? So I'm gonna add one track, a bonus track to this album. Okay, the album is Scarlet Sad. It's an Oriental jazz album.
Hello.
Okay, she toured China with it. It got amazing reception all over the world. Okay, so we resell it. Okay, with a bonus track. Okay, updated artworks.
Okay.
So we sell it track by track, not as a not as
I
an
know,
album.
not as a full
Okay,
album.
yeah.
As a full album.
So, what do holders get? Holders get a unique artwork for each track. Okay, so they buy a track, they get a unique artwork with it. Okay, so we have 33 unique artworks per track.
Hello.
Okay, and then and they also
Because
get,
it's 33 copies of the track.
listen. So yeah, it's all based on threes. So we'll have we have 33 copies of the track.
Of every track.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And the person who buys it will get 33% of the master shares.
Nice.
Okay, and if they decide to flip it, the artist gets 33% royalties. So, and that's 33 USDC or 0.03 ETH. So it's a very low price point.
Okay.
So we're talking, if we decide to sell it as ETH, 0.03, which is like 50 something dollars.
If you decide to sell it as
If we sell it
USDC.
as USD, it'll be like $33. Okay.
Good.
So
I think it's
very
a
cheap,
I think
you
it's a
know,
fair price point.
And at the same time, you also, not only are you buying the master rights for the song, you're also getting the high quality download of the whole album.
You also, I think one thing that
You see
people
what I
do
mean?
not
You're getting an airdrop, so
necessarily understand is you have the IP rights as well.
yeah.
And no, I think if a holder wants to use this music in his YouTube video or anything, do they
Exactly.
have the copyrights?
Exactly.
طب انت, you're a producer and you know how much people pay for copyrighted music.
Yeah.
You know, if you want a copyrighted track, بدك تدفع $5, $10 شي هيك.
Minimum.
انه طيب ما if you're doing this and doing this and you're just paying this money just for the copyrights or the tag, own it fully, pitch
Exactly.
into the community, share within the company, the DAO شو ما كان. هلا what I want to do is play the devil's advocate. إنه what if هذا الشخص is not necessarily interested in being active in a part of a group or a community or a label أو so what, خي بده هالشخص بس يسمع music to play it and to pause it. How do you attract إذا بدنا نحكي these people, كيف بتكون عم تستقطبهم لهول العالم? And yeah, that's the question. يعني, how do you attract just the people that want to listen to the music?
So basically right now, okay, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, it's not easy to get into the crypto world.
Definitely.
Okay, you gotta,
and it's
you
much
gotta
harder
learn how
in
to
NFTs.
use your wallet and all this stuff. It's complicated, and it was a very huge learning curve for me.
And all of us are still learning day to day for
Exactly.
sure.
You know, so I don't expect people who are not interested in that or they're not passionate about this kind of
IP ownership, community,
exactly,
NFT
so
thing.
I don't expect them to get into it anyway.
Okay.
Right? Whereas I think if somebody wants to get into crypto, for example, but they're not interested in being part of the community, they just want to listen to music. I mean, okay, you can buy one track and get the whole album, okay? And you're still paying $33 for a whole album.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the days of CDs, that's how much you would pay. You pay $20-30.
Back in the
You know?
days of uncracked iTunes
Exactly.
and every funny
You know?
things we used to do in Lebanon. Yeah.
You used to buy a CD and it would get scratched and then you throw it away. Whereas this is here to stay. And why just because there's no physical medium, why does that mean that it should be cheaper? It's not fair for artists. You know
I
what
think
mean?
16-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds like my age
Yeah.
don't know that من قبل كنا ندفع $30 على السي دي و$20
your
على
parents
السي
used
دي
to buy
على
them.
exactly. Not necessarily because we grew up on especially in Lebanon on pirated music
Yeah.
website. ما نكذب على بعض on
By the way, do you know
on
that
pirated
LimeWire
music.
is LimeWire? Do you know that they're starting an NFT marketplace?
LimeWire. Where have I heard
LimeWire. That's where we
before?
used to download music from, like Napster.
Ah,
LimeWire.
okay.
You know, you used to get
Okay,
viruses
okay,
on it.
okay,
You don't
okay,
remember
okay.
LimeWire? With the green lemon symbol.
I think they rebranded into something because I've read LimeWire since I
Yeah,
got
so
into the
they're
NFT space.
starting a music NFT marketplace.
Hello.
Yeah.
I know a lot
I'm
of
part
people
of their-
are also.
I'm part of their whitelist
I
and
know a
everything.
lot of people are also starting an NFT music marketplace. But I personally think I don't have a lot of experience in music NFTs. I know a couple of projects. مثلا, there was a project on Soul called Pixel Tapes,
Okay.
where it's just pixelized tapes, but every tape has a song
Okay.
to it.
Yeah.
I've also heard, and I want to hear your opinion on this, fractionalized ownership,
Okay.
where you can have one asset and you fractionalize its ownership through NFTs. Possibly, if you want to sell one album, you can fractionalize ownership of the album. But what I think it will evolve into is what the Soul and NFT space in general is moving towards right now, which is launchpads. So a couple of months ago, every single project that wanted to launch, they needed to get their own quote-unquote full team when it comes to the artist and the traits and the devs for the smart contract and the interface and the minting website and all of these. Okay. Nowadays, you have launchpads. So on Magic Eden, let's say, if your art is ready, you can mint on the Magic Eden launchpad. So the launchpad does the smart contract for you and does the minting page for you and does all of that. Possibly, I think NFTs and music NFTs in specific are going to evolve into where there's a general launchpad for any artist, not necessarily only one launchpad. It's always a mix of a lot of things. But I really think it will evolve into having like a couple of popular launchpads where artists just launch their music as NFTs off of these launchpads. And this also definitely creates great business opportunities and job opportunities for creators.
What's the difference between a launchpad and a marketplace, for example, where you could just have this marketplace?
So this is the difference. On the marketplace, the NFTs are already minted. عرفت كيف؟ And people are trading minted NFTs.
Okay.
Whereas on the launchpad, you launch your collection, you mint your NFTs on the launchpad. يعني مثلا Magic Eden's launchpad, okay, أكيد people mint from there, but the collection has a different page on the marketplace.
No, that's not the case with the. Do you know? Did I tell you about Bolero music? So basically,
we were talking about it. Welcome.
So Bolero approached me for a compilation. It's called Bring Back Beirut. Sama started it along with.
Please bring back Beirut.
Yeah.
Props to everybody.
So they donated their own shares to charity, and all of the Lebanese artists got quite a nice amount for the songs. So basically, the idea of Bolero. So they approach you. It's a curated marketplace. Okay, I think it's very similar to Launchpad and what you were talking about. I'm not sure exactly, but I mean, basically, they approach you, and it's basically just like any other social media thing. You post your music, and automatically it mints, and you connect the website to your wallet, and I guess that's what you're talking about, isn't it?
Where are you minting the NFT?
So basically, on the website,
on different minting websites,
and
it's similar.
Someone can come on to Bolero and buy it from Bolero Music, and that's it.
It's similar. Launchpads are making it easier to not run through the hassle of writing your own contract and doing all of these.
They do that for you
for
as
collections.
Well. Yeah,
exactly.
Does that for you
launchpad,
as well.
launchpad,
yeah. Okay.
launchpad. وأكيد كل launchpad عنده marketplace لإله. It's a great idea. And one thing I also wanted to touch upon, no, this is a great business opportunity for music producers. To add like sort of a side فرع عندهم اسمه Web3 music.
Everything for me is a side hustle. I don't have one main hustle. I mean, I DJ.
Jack of all trades. And in 2022, it's better to be a jack of all trades, master of none. It's fine. Anna, that's my own personal belief.
I am great at producing music.
Definitely.
That's my thing. But like I'm talking financially, you cannot have one source of income. Otherwise, you're a slave to that thing. In 2022, you cannot have one source of income. Otherwise, you're just a slave to your employer.
Definitely.
And that's it.
Definitely.
For me, I realize like I don't want to be, in control. I don't want anybody to control what time I wake up and what time I go to sleep. I want to do my own thing, And the only way to do that is to have multiple sources of income coming in.
واحدة passive income, واحدة earned income, and then all of the financial gurus out there know all of these. يعني.
Yeah, you know. So, I mean, that's the thing. I love making music, and you know, but also I have to do some other things. You know,
To keep yourself
enjoy,
financially
yeah,
up.
exactly. I mean, I don't enjoy admin work, but you know, you just got to do some stuff just to, you know, be able to keep making music. You know, and it's just one of those things, like you can't be 16 forever. You know, I mean.
But no, it's also a shame, and sort of wrapping it up شوي. No, it's a shame that someone that even if you want to dedicate your time fully to music, you cannot make a living out of this. Yeah, like, أكيد you can, but it needs a lot of hustle.
I mean, yeah, of
and
course, but
just
also,
like starting
and
any
luck,
new.
and luck, you know, every single
Do you
huge
think so?
artist, every single huge artist, you know, they all told me the same thing. I was at the right place at the right time.
Do you really think so?
Yeah, I know that.
And
I know
in
so. I know
music
it's luck.
more than
There's a lot
anything
of
else.
luck. There's a lot of luck involved, you know. I mean, I hate to say it, but you know, sometimes, for example, I don't know, like there's a cause, you know, like let's say back then, you know, if you were a gay artist, it would actually be harder for you to make
صح.
it. Whereas
هلا
now,
غير.
it's like, oh, LGBT, Arab, no. Look at Mashroor Leila, for example. Shout out Hamid, I love you.
I agree.
You know what I
I
mean?
completely agree.
So it just depends on what the socio-economic political climate is at the time and how it affects your image as an artist. And if you're willing to play that kind of gimmick in a way. You know
Kind
what
of
I mean?
play the
role.
spotlight, not
Yeah.
necessarily the role, the spotlight.
Yeah, yeah.
I honestly feel it's very similar when it comes to NFT projects as
Yeah.
well. And in the NFT space, there's always a meta that's going around. I say September, October, November last year. It was 3D animals,
Yeah.
and then you had apes and
It's
goats
trends, yeah, I
and
guess it's
sheep
just trends,
and
there's always
monkeys
trends,
and
there's always,
bears.
like, things that you have to catch on. You can either catch on to the trends, or I don't like trends. I really don't. You know, I like things to be sustainable. I like to, you know, just stay kind of under the radar, and just, like, kind of like slowly build. Because I hate this. Like I'm already a very chaotic person. I have ADHD, so I think it's just. For me, like I just need to have this kind of like
Sort of your own
slowly
cycle,
rising,
your own
you know,
pace.
it's like slowly rising, and I don't like these like ups and downs because I get scared. Like if I get like this amount of success very quickly, I feel like it's
How do
gonna
I
disappear.
sustain this as
Exactly.
well?
Exactly. You know?
I think a very big question to everybody, whether it is artists, whether it is communities, whether it is projects, is that how do I sustain if I'm
You know, so many people are after the quick money.
if I'm basing myself off of the hype train, how do I sustain this hype train?
Exactly.
And you know what? I think I'm glad that if artists want to keep it mainstream, public, quote unquote, they can stay in Web 2.
Yeah,
It's fine.
exactly.
They can have an audience of millions. Best of luck out there to every single artist.
Exactly.
But if someone wants a more curated community and a more niche community for them, I think the best way to move forwards is to go through Web3. Nowadays, us as individuals have so much more tools at our disposal.
I mean, or do both.
You can do
can
both.
do both.
Life isn't black or white. Life is a spectrum. But definitely, I've personally met a lot of small-scale artists that most of them were only art, as in visual arts and art pieces, but that have sold like, what, 20, 30 art pieces? And they've made a good buck out of it, and they've made good connections,
And they
مثلا.
wouldn't even dream of having an exhibition in an art gallery.
Grace Hasrouni is one of these artists that I
Grace.
can shout out. Grace. There's also another Lebanese artist. I'm sorry, I forgot your name, man, but you have amazing pixelated glasses. It's like a collection of 20, 25 pixelated glasses, and every glasses has a personality, and the guy is selling them for 0.02 ETH
Yeah.
on Polygon. 0.02. Yeah. So it's like $30, $25 out of it. And man, you get the ownership. You can do all of these things. You get the IP, and you pitch in support for a local Lebanese artist.
Exactly. Yeah.
And no, I feel outraged when we don't bargain with the big boys on the
exactly.
prices, and we always try
Yeah.
to bargain with the small scale businesses. إذا بدنا نحكي.
It's true. I mean, yeah.
That's the way it is, and hopefully Web3 is here to change that.
Yeah.
A lot more tools at our disposal, a lot of more power. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
William,
This is really amazing.
anything else you want to
I
add?
think.
Also,
let's wrap it up as
anything
well.
you want to say to anyone that's a music artist that wants to get into the NFT space, possibly open up a label, possibly start creating their own
I think there's
art.
one thing I want to say.
Any
You know,
tips?
I guess I always had this like kind of You know, the whole crypto bro stigma. I even saw like, you know, some of my old friends, you know, they were getting into crypto, and like we'd be at a party and like all they would be talking about is crypto, and we'd all be like, okay, shut up, you know. Like,
Yeah.
So, but don't let that like take your, you know,
Attention.
Exactly. Don't let that dishearten you from what we're trying to do.
And once you filter all of that, انت شفت السpace.
Like, do your own research, and if you don't like it, hey, that's fine. But I mean, don't like label something as something like, oh yeah, we're NFT bros, or we're doing this, or we're doing that, because I really like, you know, I really hate that kind of mentality where like, you know, all we talk about is this and all we talk is that, and you know, you put me at a party, I'm not talking about NFTs and crypto, you know what I mean? And it's like, no, that's why we go to NFT meetups, and that's why we, you know what I mean? Now there's communities and stuff for us. But yeah, I mean, that's all I wanted to say was like, just don't label the whole, you know, culture
Space.
right now. There's a new culture happening, really. It's a culture, you know, GM culture. It's like good morning culture, you know. It's like, it's a fucking lifestyle.
It is. NFTs are definitely a lifestyle. Completely agree.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's all I wanted to say. Like, just don't let that dishearten you. Do your own research, you know, and make your own decision about it. That's it. You know, educate yourself, and don't, you know, let others kind of, because that's, eventually I did my own research, and I was like, wait, actually, this isn't at all what I thought it was.
What this space looked like.
Exactly.
Anna, I just want to end also the episode on a note is that after you filter through all of the noise and all of the flu, you meet amazing individuals, you meet amazing projects, you meet amazing ideas, and I guess that's what keeps us going forward, la? Yeah, what keeps me going forward is the innovation and the people I meet and the experience along the way. It's not always about the end goal. Sometimes it's about the journey as well.
Yes, of course, it's all about the journey, you know. I mean, as a musician, that you'll eventually learn, like, it's about the process, not the final thing, you know. I mean, and yeah, I mean, really, like, I'm so happy that we had this talk, and I'm so happy that we met, and I'm so happy that I've met so many people, you know, Beehive and everything. Like, what you guys are doing is
welcome,
really amazing,
welcome, man.
You know, so
we
thank you guys. Really.
We hosted an in-person event since I'm نحكي عن in-person event a while ago, and stay tuned, guys. We're gonna host a lot more in-person events. William, it was amazing hosting you on the episode, man. Great talk. I know we jumped around from topic to topic, but that's how it is always on podcasts. But guys, hope you enjoy the episode. You'll find all of William's link down in the description of whatever platform this is posted on. Follow William, support William and all other artists. And it's been Crabman tuning in from the Beehive NFT. It's been a nice episode, and thank you, William. That's it, guys. And on to the next episode. Stay tuned, guys, as always.